Come on over here.
Oh, no, it was just helpful even identifying what it is, right? So you kind of...
Okay, so this group over here, they are working on their resource and their assessment. And this group over
identified in the church with all their resources and their capacities to respond already done.
today.
Yes.
So what'd you guys get done?
The whole thing?
They actually got theirs all done because theirs was a lot simpler. I just have to tell you.
Well, I know why you gave them the simple thing.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, I did have a method for that because Karen and Mike, came more recently. Well, you've been here the last couple of years, but Steve and I have just come more recently. So when you try to do capacity like that, we don't really know. I can't tell you the dimensions of the facility, I haven't gotten that far yet. So there was some rationale there, Over here, however, we have 3 seasoned people who have in-depth knowledge of a lot of the people that are in the church. I mean, a lot of resource knowledge. And so they're going to actually work on that this week, either by phone or however they decide to do it, to try to get, that kind of underway. And then we'll be circling back around with that material when you put it all together. Like Paul's going to take it and put it all together, you can put it all together. And then that's going to constitute a really good assessment for us. It doesn't mean it's going to have to be perfect. We'll add to it as we go. But if we can get the critical mass of those questions kind of identified, then even if there is an emergency tomorrow with that is going to really help us considerably to know how to respond. Because we're going to be responding out of our capacity, not because of what we want to do, but what we know we can do. So, okay?
I didn't realize we had 7 bathrooms.
But Nazarene Disaster Response, I can tell you, would like to know that because, the policy for Nazarene Disaster Response, if there is a disaster that they respond to in this area, this becomes the command center.
Mm-hmm.
It's immediately taken over and it becomes the command center.
That's Compassionate Ministries.
Well, no, it's Nazarene Disaster Response.
Okay.
That's their policy. And it's uniformly as a part of the General Assembly. That is a condition. Most Nazarene churches don't know that. But that is the case. It becomes an incident command center immediately. And then things operate out of that.
But that's just for our Nazarene Church's resources. That's not necessarily fit with the picture.
So Nazarene Disaster Response has resources that they bring in, and then they help to facilitate a response locally if they deem this as an area that needs to be responded to.
You could still incorporate it into this entire thing. You use it as part of your command, and you bring them in.
See? That's what you do. So
I think Mount St. Helens is going to get us.
So here's the good news. Most Nazarene churches, don't even know that policy. Most Nazarene churches don't even know that policy, that number 1.
That they'll take over?
That they will do that.
Well, makes sense.
And number 2, though, most Nazarene churches don't know that if they already have the fire hose and the hydrant and able to hook up better, that they will be a far more larger response together with the Nazarene Disaster Response than if they just have Nazarene Disaster Response and just come in and then they just, no, they're not organized.
And they're usually here for only a couple of weeks and they're gone. There's still a large recovery effort. Large recovery effort
because most of the fruit of people coming to know Christ happens after the crisis.
Exactly. So not
in the recovery
there is just
stage.
Detrimental. It can suck up a church.
And why is that? Because you've been compassionately walking alongside of them, you've been listening, praying, whatever, and then the fruit comes from that, the love response. Okay, so for next week, again, I hope that you're doing Ready Christian with your family so that you are getting yourselves personally prepared. Again, we're doing this so that then we'll be introducing it to the whole congregation for their personal preparedness. Can you imagine if we have a critical mass of Christians in our congregation really ready, how much better we'll be able to respond, them personally, as well as, as a corporate body. And then make sure that you've gotten your role appointment set up with me if you need to discuss your role and any questions that you have. The safety, security, they're getting their applications in hopefully,
Are
and
they?
I haven't gotten any, just yours.
I sent you Michael's.
Didn't get it, see, but I think that maybe you didn't have.
No, it was email. I emailed it.
Yeah, and I didn't get his. I didn't get
I
his.
did it the day I got home from Nashville.
Yeah.
He pounded me.
And for that
Well,
mailer name.
I'll look again, because I've been just getting inundated. Just keep in mind, whenever we start going through some kind of a semi-response, whenever you see something like what happened in Manchester, just know Mary's kind of in a different place. Just, okay.
With the little red thing on it.
Yeah, a little red thing on it. Okay, so read the resource and management material, read that material. And then please pray for your backups. Can you imagine if all 9 of you are all prepared and then we lose one of you?
Yeah.
You see, if there is not a backup that kind of is walking along with you, much less the team, so even now you should be praying about your teams.
Yeah.
And so if you already have people that are already interested in care-related things, like there were some ministries that are focused on compassionate care, but they weren't in any kind of a formalized way. Bring them into the team, formalize it, make it part of the whole care ministry, and so there you go. So pray for your backups and use the profile, the CET profile, to find your backups and start building your team.
But we aren't supposed to be asking anybody yet?
Oh yeah, you can
Or
start, absolutely,
we can't-
start praying
doesn't have
about
to
it.
Be approved by
Yeah.
the pastor?
No, because you're the lead. You take the
Okay.
lead. Now, pretty soon, and this is what we're working on with Pastor, pretty soon he's going to be introducing what we've been doing to the entire church, and then opening up to everyone to be parts of teams if they would like to be. But it will be up to you to pick and choose. You'll be doing what he did, for your team, because you want a strong team. Now you can find a role for everybody. Trust me, you can find a role for everybody. That doesn't necessarily mean you give them a leadership position.
Yeah.
You have to groom them for that.
How many leadership spots are void?
Well, so Karen, we have 4 that are filled with the primary lead, and we have 5 that are still outstanding. So
I thought names were being given to Mark or.
names were given,
Some
and
have been given, yeah.
yes,
So have names for every position being given, or are we still some without, just haven't been picked?
I
I
believe
mean,
there's
like
still
serial
some
names.
without.
Which ones?
I think logistics, maybe one.
Mhm.
I think we have a name for operations, or at least it has been forwarded to Mark. Prayer, we do not have a lead yet. We have a support team, but we don't have a lead person yet.
and the
Cher.
what's
Share,
the
we
name?
don't have. Front
Wood, Debbie
Yeah.
Wood, was
Debbie Wood.
she approached?
That's right. I
Yeah.
don't think she's been approached.
So he has
The
names
name
that
was-
he's supposed to be approaching. And the longer that we go on where we don't have a full team, the harder it is. We can function on some level, but you can see how we're void in some areas, and it will make it harder.
Yeah, if I can suggest, I don't want to, tell me if I'm wrong, I almost would rather pause where we're at, and otherwise it's going to become I know it will become very overwhelming if we don't have those spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But another thought, that's just one thought, another suggestion is that rather than putting me as the operations person right now, operations is going to be needed more when it actually becomes operational. But I'm okay if I'm taking the lead until there's someone else on the logistics and planning part,
Okay.
because that's what you're really asking me to do.
Yeah.
Is facilitate that like we're talking about here now. And I'll get together with Kathy and we'll start working on some of these elements, and then fill the operations a little bit later, who carries out the operations plan.
And and you might even have some ideas of who that might be too. So, and Kathy, we just need to kind of pick your brain on all those kind of
Yeah.
resources. And John and Carol, you too. It's just really, just give those names over to Karen. Give all the names over to Karen. She's your admin. And she will work with Pastor, and she's going to keep track of who he communicates with and who's been approved. And so she's in the process of tracking all that down with him. We kind of have to keep that detail ourselves. So that's Karen's job.
So, yeah, let me know, Karen, what you want to do with it, but that's just my suggestion is.
Yeah, and I would concur with that. Karen, you haven't asked me, you know, but I concur with that. And
And
so
then
then
I
Steve,
would-
though, with finance
I would, yeah,
is,
that's my
yeah,
third thing. is-
yeah.
is-
He's gonna stand in for the finance until you have somebody that he can train, as well.
Exactly.
So,
And then you have relatively the spots filled.
Right.
I thought we had somebody for prayer.
well, we have team people, team person.
We've got,
Jeannie Halverson.
But she doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
there's some new attendees here. We have a retired minister who,
Yeah, I gave those names too.
Yeah.
Paul Anderson.
Yep, you gave it to me and
Yeah,
I
we
gave
gave
it to
it to
him.
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've got continually the liability thing with Eric
Right.
Smith,
Smith.
so that he can review the liability concerns, you know, of the security plan that we have to have in place.
Yeah, what, Paul, you're doing security? What are you doing?
No, this
This
Paul's
officer,
security.
he's security.
Yeah,
No, but
well-
what are you doing though?
He's a guest.
The
He's a
SDMI,
guest.
you're a Nazarene, you know what that means.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
I'm asking you.